Step number 2, sewing machines maintenance. On this step number 2, we are going to teach you how to set your needle. What is the length and the direction? So the length of the needle from the needle bar, that is on this very screw level, the needle bar is this very iron. We tie the needle on it. This is a needle bar. This very iron is a needle bar. Okay, yes. Now the length of the needle is 1.2. If you are using a leather sewing machine. This is a leather sewing machine. Look at the back here. This is a leather sewing machine. Okay, so your product may be butterfly, it may be hood dog, it may be true lion, it may be any product. Okay, so this product is Protex. This is a flatbed. Now the face, that is the eye of the needle, should face directly here. See where I am pointing here, this very place. Okay, yes, it should face directly opposite. And if direct opposite is not working for you, then it should face adjacent to this very reverse lever. From the eye of the needle should face this direction. Then the needle also have a straight line here, so the straight line should face outside, this outside. Okay, so this is a complete guide for a beginner. If you are a novice, this video is fine for you. Okay, if you are an intermediate, you are welcome. If you are a pro, this video is also for you. If you don't know anything much about the leather sewing machine, so we are teaching you the maintenance. Okay, very good. Now I have set this machine to work normal. Let's go practically. So practically, let's get started. You know, our machine, we are using it manually. Yes, we are using it both manually and electricity. So it's sewing well for us. Without the electricity, it is working well. So as you can see, the stitches is absolutely good. It's fine without any challenge. You won't see any skipping. Okay, there's not any form of the skipping. There's no skipping stitches. Yes, and the under, there's not any jamming thread. There's nothing. Okay, everything is super clean. So now what happened if you should see something? If the upper tension has slacked or is faulty, this is what will happen. So let's slack it. Maybe somebody mistakenly slack this place, or your student, your apprentice, or just anybody mistakenly do this for you. Or if the needle is not inside the tension itself, this is what you're gonna see. We're gonna mark, where's the pen? We're gonna mark so you can know the difference. The first line is here. This is the first line. The first line has this circular mark. All right, then the second line is coming here. So the second line will try to dictate if the upper tension is faulty, what is gonna be the outcome if the upper tension is faulty. Now I'm using this machine now without electricity. This is what happened if the upper tension is faulty. You can see the stitches is not well tight. It's not tight, isn't it? Then let's turn the under, the bottom. This is what happened. Can you see it? The thread will be gathering under. That simply means this very upper tension is faulty. The teaching I'm giving you is both for lower machine, that is local sewing machine, that is the manual blackhead domestic sewing machine. The same settings, the same challenges. So whenever you are seeing anything like this camera stop blurring now. Good. Whenever you are seeing thread showing like this, just rush directly to the upper tension. It is at fault. So you have to what? Tie it back. You have to tie it back. You may ask the question, how will I know if the tightness is okay? Yes, you will know when the stitches is working well. That is how to know it. So if this upper tension is faulty, both the top, can you see the stitches is losing, is not tight. Yeah, it's because it's not strong enough to tight the stitches. All right, very good. Now the second line, let's take it here. Now that we have adjusted it, let's see the difference. What exactly is going to be the difference? So we are doing this practically. Now let's have a look at it. Can you see this is the second line? Obviously you can see the difference already. All right, very good. So now let's turn it under. You can see it obviously. This is the first line that is normal. This is the second line, upper tension case issue, and then the third line here, the result is fine, it's normal. Okay, very good. So now what happens if this something that happens under here, if this needle that is losing here, the thread is not losing at the top. So if the top is faulty, if the top stitches is not neat, then the problem is from the lower tension, which is this very one. So it's either, if the lower tension is faulty, the possible cause is that your thread has missed the normal position. Okay, yes, the thread is not in the normal position. I'm just using this very small one to demonstrate. All right, this is a green thread. If the thread is flowing outside, mistakenly step outside in this very place, you will be seeing the thread will be gathering at the top. Yes, the thread will be gathering at the top. And if the tension itself has slacked, this tension has slacked, because some people do force it. You have been forcing your thread out of the tension. It's very wrong. Like this. Can you see this? If you are dragging your thread in this place, after you finish your sewing, you are now using your hand, showing that you have energy by cutting thread with your hand, is super wrong. Don't do that. Yes, do not force it. Kindly use your scissors. Have your scissors closer to cut your thread. Okay, very good. Can you see that clearly? Good. So do not force it. If you force it too much, it will slack and it won't function well to hold, that is to adjust. So the function of the upper tension is to control the flow of thread. Yes, to regulate the flow of your thread. Okay, anything called tension on sewing machine. So do not force your thread out. Always use your scissors to cut your thread whenever they mistakenly jam in this very place. And another thing you should actually be conscious of is, do not force your machine. Any slight thread inside, make sure you bring it out carefully and gradually. Okay, yes, carefully bring out, because if any little thread, as little as this thread is, camera, stop blurring, what's happening to you? As little as this thread is, when it gets stuck in a particular position on this machine, your machine will get stuck. This machine won't move again. As little as this thread is, as little as this very thread, let me show you. I'm going to show you. All right, yes, it can hang somewhere inside here, and your machine won't move. It will never move, and then you'll be forcing it. When you force it, something else is going to happen. You may break something inside. And now, when you are forcing thread here, those of you that are good in cutting thread with your hand, this is what exactly you are doing. You are bending the needle. This is what I'm talking about. You are forcing your thread, you grab here, and then you start dragging it. You are bending the needle. At the same time, you are damaging the lower tension. How are you bending the needle? Because take a look at it. This needle will be bending like this. It will be bending. So if the needle bends, it will now come and hit this very plate. It can hit the wrong position. It will hit the machine plate. Therefore, the needle can break. And if the needle do not break, most especially we that are using big size of needle from size 22 to 25, all right, even if it's a small size. So if the needle didn't break, then the needle bar will break. This very iron, this very thing here is not iron. The needle bar is not iron. It can break. This thing here, this thing will tie the needle to it. This very thing you are saying, it can break. Yes, and if it break, you need your sewing machine engineer. So they're going to buy a new one for you, and you know how much it may cost you, maybe up to 5 to 10,000. I don't know. All right, so that is why you must be very, very careful. Do not force your thread whenever you are done with your stitches or it hangs somewhere. Use your scissors carefully to cut it here. Lift the needle up, and in case the needle got stuck inside, kindly get your screwdriver, loose the needle here, all right, and bring it out gradually. Bring out your tension, and then you loose in case the needle refuses to come out. So loose it from here, lose this very screw and lose the needle. Okay, do not force anything. Do not force. If the machine gets stuck, don't drag it, don't force it in this very place. Do not force it, just gradually turn here, and if it's not turning, kindly come and remove your needle, and then you set everything afresh. Okay, yes, that's how simple to control your sewing machine. Please watch the next video. I don't want to be making this video longer. This is the second video, so watch the third video.